So if you're a sport bike guy and you are thinking about adding another bike to your stable, I would strongly encourage you to look at and consider a Supermoto. So there's lots of guys out there who've got multiple sport bikes. They love the performance, they love the riding position, they love the thrill, they love maybe getting something that's engine characteristic a little bit different, right? There's lots of different sport bikes out there. You have the V-twins, you've got the triples, the inline fours, the V4s, right? So there's lots of different sport bikes to experience, and I'm one of those guys, right? I enjoy trading bikes, having multiple bikes, just to experience something a little bit different. But nothing has given me that both different feeling and performance feeling like a Supermoto, right? So this video really is for those guys. You're going to retain your sport bike. I'm not saying the Supermotos are better than sport bikes, but I do think that if anybody is going to be riding a Supermoto and enjoying what a Supermoto is, it'd be a sport bike guy, right? So like you could make the argument, well, if you want something different and you want to add a bike to your sport bike, go get a Harley. Well, I get that, but you don't see that very often because sport bike guys are the guys that like the performance. They like light, they like nimble. And to me, that's what a Supermoto is. Even this bike right here being a 701 Supermoto Husqvarna, this still is even a stretch as a Supermoto, right? A Supermoto to me is a dirt bike. The essence is light, right? So you got the lightweight plus the high performance, a decent amount of horsepower, power to weight ratio. This really is a heavy bike, but it still serves that Supermoto essence for me, right? It is still a powerful bike. It's still lighter. It kind of has that dirt bike feel. It's got the street tires instead of the knobby tires. I guess that's the main thing of a Supermoto is dirt bike-ish, but with street tires. It's going to be a street bike, right? So even a lot of the true Supermotos, if you're converting a dirt bike, you're not adding blinkers, taillights, headlights, horns, kickstands, right? I mean, that's the real essence of a Supermoto. So that's why you see guys, I always love to see a collection, and you might see a guy with 5 or 10 bikes, and then off the corner you see a Supermoto. You're like, yep, this guy gets it, right? And you don't need multiple Supermotos, right? Like you can definitely make the argument, like I said, the different engine characteristics of all the different engine configurations with sport bikes. I see why you'd want multiple sport bikes. I don't think you really can make the case that you need multiple Supermotos. I'm sure there's guys out there, but I don't know, a KTM 450 versus a Honda 450 versus, what else is out there. I don't know if you're going to feel all that different, right? So that's why I think you'll see garages with multiple sport bikes and one Supermoto. I always feel for the guys, they've got, a lot of sport bikes and no Supermoto. I'm like, they just haven't discovered yet. And that's really who I'm making this video for. Whether you've got one sport bike and you're thinking about adding one to it, or you've got multiple sport bikes and you're still looking, for that thrill, you're looking for something different, that different feeling, I would just strongly consider a Supermoto. I don't think that you regret it. I bought this one brand new in 2019. I've only bought 2 bikes in my life brand new. One was my Honda Grom that I still have, and this 701 Supermoto. So it's 2026 now. This is a 2019, so I've had it 7 years now, and time flies, right? But it's been an easy bike to keep, easy bike to maintain. Yeah, maybe I don't ride it as much as my sport bikes, but I love just getting on it, and it's just a different feeling, right? The sport bikes, if you get on a sport bike in your sneakers and your shorts and do a grocery run, the old term was a squid, right? And now you can't even do that with these high performance 200 horsepower bikes, just because the heat. You're not going to get on a bike in shorts, right? And I feel like an idiot talking about getting on a bike in shorts, but if I'm out mowing the lawn on this bike and I just see it in the garage, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna hop on it, I'm gonna go out for a couple miles, and if I've got a pair of shorts on and sneakers, I'm like, I don't feel like such an idiot, right? I don't have to go get dressed to take this bike out. And I'm not talking about canyon carving and go easy on me on wearing gear. You know, I do wear gear, I wear helmet, gloves, pants, you know, all that stuff. But I'm just saying, you know, when it's in your garage and you've gone a week without riding a bike and you see this and you're like, hey, I'm just going to take it out, you know. Like I enjoy doing that. On the other note, you know, if you do want a canyon carve with this bike, you definitely can, or a true Supermoto. So, you know, I just think a lot of guys pass up the Supermoto because it looks like a dirt bike, and you say, well, I'm not a dirt bike guy. You don't need to be dirt bike guy. I'm not a dirt bike guy. I didn't grow up on dirt. I don't go, you know, my son's starting to get into motocross. I've got a little CRF 150R for me now that I'm kind of learning that dirt bike stuff, but I'm not riding this because of image. I'm not riding it because I want to look like a dirt bike guy or a Supermoto guy or whatnot. I'm just riding it just because it's fun. You know, it's an upright position, still has plenty of power. It's easy to wheelie. It's fun to wheelie. You know, your hands are in a different position. Your arms are in a different position. You know, a little wider apart. You sit up higher. Just sitting in traffic. You know, you just feel like you know, you feel like a king just kind of sitting up, you know, looking over cars and things like that. So yeah, if you've got a sport bike, you're thinking about upgrading, I'm repeating myself here, but definitely do give these the consideration. Not even saying, you know, it has to be this one, whatever Supermoto. I like this one just because it's the same maintenance as a sport bike. You know, a lot of the Supermotos, you know, the dirt bikes, you're rebuilding top ends. You know, oil changes are a lot more frequent, things like that. This one, you know, I'm kind of on the same maintenance schedule as a sport bike. You know, I treat it like a sport bike. You know, I ride it, I enjoy it. I'm not wrenching all the time on it. So if that's kind of what you're looking at, then yeah, you can look at the Husqvarna or the KTM or the gas versions of these. But you know, really for the purpose of just enjoying and having something different and experiencing motorcycles, you know, any type of Supermoto will do you. Even the DRZ 400, you know, like I went with this one just because it's got an extra gear and more CCs, a little bit of horsepower. But I see those DRZ 400s, and you know, they bring a smile to my face. It might be a little bit heavier or whatnot, but it's still the essence of what I'm getting at here, just a little bit different. So what else am I missing here? Let me know in the comments. Is there another bike? You know, I touched briefly on the Harleys. Is there another bike other than a Supermoto? If you're a sport bike guy, what am I missing? What else should you be trying there? Classic bikes, cruisers, things like that. So if you guys like the content, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Been you know, enjoying taking videos here and expanding the channel. I do have a Ducati V4R coming. It's on a truck right now. Should be here soon. It's driving me crazy, but I'm looking forward to taking some videos of that bike. So give me a subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.